Hello, 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 everyone. I am Dr. Deshauna Monet Riggs, and I just want to share a little piece of my story and inspiration for my new children's book, I Am Valuable. So I'm standing in front of the elementary school that I attended, one of the many elementary schools that I attended while I was a child, and I lived in a home not too far from the school with my maternal grandparents, my aunt, and a bunch of my cousins. And so one day, me and my cousin, we were playing and I hit her too hard. And my aunt, she chased me in a room and she started swinging the belt underneath the bed and it hit me in my eye. And so I went to school the next morning. I must have walked past a handful of teachers before I got into my classroom, and that's when my teacher said, "Deshauna, what happened to you?" And I said, "My aunt hit me in the eye with a belt." And what happened after that was all a blur. I can just remember me, my brother, and my sister. We were taken in a white car to social services. The social worker said, "You're not going home. You're going into foster care." This is where it all started, at this school in this neighborhood in West Fresno where I grew up. And from there, my life turned out in ways that I couldn't even imagine. We are at the first house that me and my sister was placed in. Unfortunately, my brother, he had to go to a different house. And so when we got to this house, we came with literally nothing. I remember asking the lady when I got here, I'm like, "Lady, what's this address?" And she gave me the address. She's like, "Who are you on the phone with?" I didn't even answer her. So I just remember giving my brother the address, and the next thing you know, we ran away. Me, my brother, and my sister. My brother came all the way from wherever he was, and he came and picked us up, knocked on the door, and we ran away. We ran to my dad's girlfriend's house at the time, and the social worker came and picked us back up, and we like, dang, they got us. Fortunately, we had to come back. This was the very first house that we were placed at. There was another one after this one. But we were in these homes for about a couple of months until I moved to my grandmother's house. We are at my grandmother's house, my paternal grandmother's house, and this is the room that I slept in for about 5 years. We had twin beds or bunk beds. They wasn't really bunk beds, they were day beds on each side of the room. So it was me, my sister, and my 3 cousins that stayed in one room. 5 kids in one room, that's a lot of kids in one room. And so, of course, we were fighting with each other and, just growing up with each other and under one roof. After so many months in foster care, me, my older brother, and my younger sister were placed here in kinship care. And when we got here, there were already 5 other kids in this house. My grandmother, she was so strong. She took us in, without hesitation. And she did it by herself. 8 of her grandchildren by herself. And I just appreciate her for stepping in and picking up where my parents couldn't. Deja's paternal grandmother was a very strong woman because she took care of 8 children by herself and provided them with love and care. Although Deja was happy to live with her relatives in kinship care, she longed to live with her parents. So Grandma, when the social workers brought me, Natasha, and Chris, what was your thinking?
It was a decision that I'm proud that I did. And if I had to do it all over again, do you know I would do it all over again? That's how much I love. They probably hated being here.
We couldn't go and do what the other kids were doing because they were getting in trouble, and she didn't want us to be like that. She taught us to respect people, to respect our elders. We were at church every Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we were always in church. And, you know, I enjoyed going to church. I enjoyed this home, and the thought about leaving was, you know, it was like, so if I leave here, where am I going to end up?
She was so, she was so dedicated. She was dedicated to everything she did. She was dependable. She's determined. Lord knows she's determined. She's going to make it her way. Regardless of how it goes, she's going to be Deshauna's way. That was Deshauна. She might have been about in the 3rd grade. And I come home from school, I come home from work, and she said, we have an appointment. I said, an appointment? Yeah, I'm just barely getting home. She done called and made an appointment. She, you remember Brenda Buckingham? Mm-hmm. She had made an appointment to go to her studio because she wanted to be a model.
Yes.
And I'm like, an appointment? And so I go out there, and the lady, I mean, a room full of people, and the lady was saying all the things that she could be great at, and that she was going to be filming, she was going to be making commercials. And I got down to it, she said, it's $150 a month. And I said, oh my God, how did you come up with $150 a month? I said, Deshauna, you can't get in that class. She said, yeah. I said, Deshauna, there's 7 other kids at that house. They don't want to be nothing. I'm trying to be something. They don't want to be, but she didn't mean they didn't want to be anything. She meant that they didn't want to be where she wanted to be. You know, they don't want to be where I want to be. She said, I'm going to be somebody. That was her word all the time. I'm going to be somebody.
One summer day when Deja was at school, a social worker came to her class, and she had to go live with strangers in a foster home. Deja was very afraid and did not know what to do. She cried to herself and said, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? So, Mama, do you remember the day that me, Chris, and Natasha went into foster care?
I had a wide range of emotions. Like, I felt ashamed of myself. I felt depressed. I felt just like I was wrong and why am I doing y'all like that? And I could do better. And I was sad.
That's it.
And you know, I love her. I love Hester to death for all the things that she done for my kids. Because if it wasn't for her, I don't know what would have happened to y'all. And I missed out on all the things that she got to enjoy. But by the grace of God, I'm still here to see you accomplish, you know, like your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD. I've been here for all of that to see you, you know, grow as an adult. But
so working at the school, I've been a counselor with Fresno Unified for the last 7 years, and I work in West Fresno. And a lot of the kids that I serve, they have the same stories as me. Some of them are living in homes where they only have one parent. Some of them are living with their grandmothers, some with their aunts or their uncles, and some of them are in foster care. And I was in the foster care system for 10 years. And throughout that time, there were a lot of things that I experienced while in foster care, and even before I got in foster care, that were traumatizing. And so some of the things that I went through as a child, I see the same things in the children that I serve. And so I can remember just not being with my parents and wondering why. You know, I would go to school and I would see all the other kids with their parents, and I'm like, well, why I can't live with my parents? Even though my grandmother, she loved us, she took care of us. You know, when you are a child, you still want to live with your parents. And so there was a part of me that was empty inside, and I did things to devalue myself. And so I grew up, you know, with low self-esteem, even though I didn't show it. When you're not able to heal from your trauma, you do things that sometimes are devaluing. And so that's what I did. And throughout my adulthood, I found myself doing those things. And until one day, God was like, come on now. I love you. You are mine. You are valuable. And so that was the inspiration for my book. You know, just being in the foster care system, growing up and experiencing trauma, and then living life, you know, with this self-doubt and, you know, low self-esteem and not really having a good self-concept. So that's the inspiration for this book. This is for any child who has been through the foster care system. This is for any child that has experienced hardships. This is for any child who has experienced obstacles and feel like, you know, they're alone in this world, or they cannot be anybody, or they have self-doubt or negative thoughts about themselves. This book right here is for those children. I am special. I am unique. I am important. I am enough. I am powerful. I am gifted. I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am somebody. I am valuable. I love me. I Am Valuable is available at the link on the screen, or you can email me also by the link on the screen if you want bulk orders. So for all the children out there, know that you are valuable. You are important, and don't let anybody tell you different.